Burma is entering a new era of international engagement after decades of isolation. In an historic move, Hillary Clinton has visited the nation, the first US Secretary of State to do so in 50 years. The ruling military junta also opened the doors to the media for the visit and allowed journalists from around the globe to report freely for the first time. The ABC's Zoe Daniel was there, but she discovered many problems are kept out of sight of most cameras.
Even 6 months ago, politics was only discussed in whispers in tea shops in the back streets of Rangoon. Now it's front page news. And while talking politics still makes people nervous, there's cautious optimism that change is finally coming.
I think things are on the improve, yes.
What most people really need here is a better quality of life. Decades of repression have stunted growth. Economically, Burma is far behind its neighbours. That's one key reason for what appears to be the government's sudden, stunning appetite for reform that may finally force what's been a pariah state out into the light.
It seems like the reformers are in power. They are moving ahead. So maybe they seem to realise that if we don't take these steps rapidly, they will lag in behind with the neighbours. Take a look around the ASEAN neighbours. Forget about Thailand and Singapore and Malaysia. Take a look at Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. We're lagging behind.
Thi Ha Saw has been running magazines in Rangoon for 20 years. In a country where people are routinely jailed for political comment, journalists among them, it's been fraught. But he thinks all of that is about to change too, with new media laws expected next year and the possible abolition of censorship altogether.
There will no longer be pre-press censorship. That was told to us by that boss of the department.
That's all major, isn't it?
That sounds really great for us.
Do you think it's real? Do you feel confident that this path is going to continue in the direction it's going?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that kind of question I've been asked by a lot of my friends. Is it genuine? Is it real? Or is it just a dream? Or will it realize? My view is that, the current regime, the current cabinet, they are quite serious about reforms. And the reforms will go ahead. Maybe not to the point that we would like it to be, but then they would keep going and going and going.
Local media freedom is just one step towards democracy. But in a country that's so heavily restricted free speech, it's a test for the government that claims to be ready.
A number of international journalists have entered the country in the last week. For many of us who work in the region, for the first time with official permission. It'll only be next time we apply for a visa to enter the country that we'll know if that was a one-off or if it represents a shift in policy.
For the first time, we were able to visit the headquarters of the opposition, a place we've avoided in the past as it's closely watched by government agents. Now that the party's been allowed to legally re-register as a political entity, things are operating a lot more freely here too. Spokesman Win Tin is a former political prisoner of 14 years and one of the movement's foundation members.
We are still regard all these changes with extreme caution because we have been under stress for more than 20 years.
He says the government wants legitimacy and engaging with Aung San Suu Kyi may help them get it. In an undeniable sign of progress, democracy campaigner and opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi hosted the US Secretary of State and a massive press pack at her home last week. It's just 13 months since she was released after spending 15 of 21 years locked in this very house. Her party will contest forthcoming by-elections and she's expected to stand. But she's clear. Progress so far has been minor and there are major issues yet to be solved, particularly in areas unseen by the media.
All hostilities must cease within this country as soon as possible, that we may build up ethnic harmony and peace and a union that is prosperous and stable. Whatever we do in the predominantly Burmese areas, we hope to be matched by similar programs and projects in the ethnic nationality areas, because we are a union of many peoples, and in a union of many peoples there must be equality, there must be consideration for those who are in greatest need.
Among the most desperate are the Kachin people in Burma's far north, where fighting has worsened since last year's election. The government-backed military has been accused of war crimes, brutal treatment of civilians and using rape as a weapon.
Yesterday my father, my younger brother and his wife were captured. His wife was trying to escape from the shooting, and although my father and brother escaped, his wife has not been found.
It's just one of many long-running conflicts where minority ethnic groups have faced generations of persecution by Burmese government forces.
I took what I needed in my basket and I started running.
Tens of thousands of people have been displaced by fighting here in the last few months. Many are now cowering in makeshift camps on the Chinese border.
My body was shaking. We cannot light candles. If they see the light, the soldiers will start shooting. We are begging for food. We have nothing. All the children are starving.
Even as the government promises it will pursue peace deals with rebel groups, there are claims of chemical warfare.
The junta soldiers fired a chemical agent and I inhaled it and felt terrible weakness.
The government has apparently signed a ceasefire deal with rebels in neighbouring Shan State in the last few days. Whether they do the same with other rebel groups will be a test of their sincerity about bringing democracy, equality and basic human dignity to the people of Burma.
Zoe Daniel reporting from Rangoon.